Want to learn how to make this cute card? Join me today in my craft room as we work on making this adorable card to send to someone. Okay, for your supplies, you're going to need the Scallop Tag topper punch. You're going to need some of the gold baker's twine. If you don't have this, I don't know if it's still available, it may not be, but if you don't have any of this, any kind of twine that kind of gives a nautical look would work. You need some Calypso Coral ink, some Memento black ink, some wild Wasabi ink. I'm using the Seaside Shore stamp set. I'm going to make this a masculine card, and from there I've chosen the seagrass, that fish, I don't know what it is. I know this one's an angelfish. I don't know about that other one. That. I have a piece of it's just under 2 inches by 3.5 of Calypso Coral. And I have a piece of Pool Party that's 1 inch by 5.5. And then I have my card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I cut 1 inch off the bottom. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our bone folder to get a nice crisp fold. Only because I want to see where I'm stamping down here. And I'm going to use the wild Wasabi ink and my seagrass. And I'm going to put a piece of scratch paper underneath, only because it'll get all over my... And I closed it because I want some of them down low, but now that I know, I'm going to take and I'm going to open it so I can go higher with some. Okay, and I can go back and fill in, just so I have a lot of grass down here. There. So I have a fair amount of grass. So I'm done with my grass, and I need to clean my stamp. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Pool Party and I'm going to add some, let me get rid of this now, some tape to the back of it, and I apologize, I have a terrible cold. Enough to give me a thin layer of cardstock showing out. So I added my tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down so it's even, and I'm going to kind of look at where I want it and how much is peeking out, and then stick it down so that it turns out to be even all the way across. Although that looks like it's crooked. Okay, let me straighten it up a little bit. If I hadn't pushed it down, it would be easier. In fact, you know what you can do? If you ever stick something down and you want to get it back up and it won't come up, take and hit it with your heat tool and it'll peel right off. I'm going to go do that and come back and show you. Okay, I hit this with my heat tool and see how this is coming up. Now mine is cooled a little bit. If you do it when it's warm, it comes right off really easy and you don't tear up either of your papers. What you do need to do is you do need to add more tape to it because you've heated it and you've pulled it apart, so now it's not as sticky. And I'm going to do what I should have done to begin with. I'm going to use my grid paper, and I'm going to line up both ends of my grid paper so that now it is straight. All right, with my Memento black ink, I'm going to ink up my angelfish. And this is a large stamp with a lot of black to it, so make sure it's good and inked up. Oh my goodness. Well, guess what? I'm going to stamp right over top of that so it's hidden. And it's not going to work. All right. Guess I'll be doing another card front. Let me cut that. This is what happens. I get it on the outside and then I get it on my fingers. So let me clean up and start again. Okay, I'm back. I've got my card to the point that I had it before. I'll use that other as scrap. We are always needing scrap paper. So with that in mind, and I can see that I still have some on my hands, but I wiped it off. I don't know about you, but I scrap in old clothes or stamp in old clothes because I'm always making a mess. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this guy here, and I'm going to stamp this guy here. Okay. Oh, since I always decorate the inside of the card and the envelope, the bottom of this will have stuff on it, but what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add some things up here. And I got to add my grass on this one, on my envelope. So now I've done, with my luck, I got it. Yes, look at that. Oh my gosh. Today is not a good day for me. I probably shouldn't be doing a video. Let me get this done and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And this time what I did was I took a baby wipe and I cleaned this up so it doesn't have all the ink on it. So hopefully I don't have the ink on me. And I now have my card to the point without any extra on it. So now I have lots of scrap paper to use. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to do my tag next. And you know what? I forgot my sentiment, but let's put my tag to punch my tag. This piece is just under 2 inches by 3.5, and I'm going to slide this all the way into my ornate tag topper, and I'm punching the top. All right, let me get my sentiment and I'll be back. Okay, I decided to use the Hope Your Day Goes Swimmingly from the stamp set. So now that I have my tag punched, I'm going to pull out that black ink again. Notice I have everything quite a ways away from it. So if I mess up, I'm only messing up one thing. Again, I'm going to ink my stamp up and check it out. In fact, since this is the first time I used it, I'm going to stamp it on scrap paper so that it picks up all that ink. All right, and now I'm going to stamp this on here, and I'm going to wait a little bit for the ink to transfer, and there it goes. And just so you know, even though I cleaned it, look, all that ink is in there again. It's because it fits on so tight, so just be aware of that. All right, I'm going to pull out my twine, and I'm going to thread it through. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece off, and I just kind of guessed with it, and I'm going to put it in. I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not. Yes, thread it from the front. If you thread it the other way, your pieces go out and it doesn't look as nice. Now what I think I'm going to do to keep it tight is I'm going to take and tie a knot. And actually I'm going to tie a double knot so that it stays. That way it stays nice. Okay, bring my card back in. And as you can see, it's kind of long. It's hiding that. I'm not going to worry about it, you know? One of those days. All right, let me get my dimensionals and put on the back. And don't forget, okay, use all your dimensionals. And I cut mine in half. If it's a big piece, I'll put a whole one on there, but most of the time you don't need a whole one. So I'm going to put a dimensional on each corner. All right, and let me kind of play. If I go that way, it's not too bad. I think that's what I'll do. All right, get these things off the back. Okay. And I'm going to put that down. And this is a little long. I almost grabbed the wrong scissors. So I'm going to take and just give it a little trim. All right, now I still have this other fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink him up, and I'm going to stamp him. All right. I'm going to cheat. I should have thought about this, but I didn't. It's been one of those days. Do you ever have those days? Okay. There it is. And then I'm going to put this underneath because I'm going to move this and stamp him down here. Okay. There we go. Oh, didn't do it inside. Now I got to do it inside. I think I'm just going to put one. I'm going to put it at a different angle. And that's what you get for moving it. Put it down and leave it. And this one over here. Okay. So, with that, here is the completed card. Here's the inside in the envelope. And you know what? It's no big deal that that's there. It's a handmade card. People will know that. Thanks for sticking with me since it was a rough day today. Hopefully, it will get better.